back everyone to the Hybrid Network, and another day where we're looking closely into Stephen King's classic horror novel, It, dissecting the book in the original 1990 miniseries to better prepare you for the brand new adaptation hitting us in September of this year. And today is a topic I've wanted to discuss for a while, because while It is a very scary book about a demonic entity that's feasting on the children of a small town, that's not all the book is. Rarely is any story simply what you see on the surface, for in order to create something that truly sticks with people, there's usually some kind of message that comes across in a work, or central themes that resonate with the reader as they go through it. It also works on this principle, because again, while it's pretty entertaining to just see a story about a killer clown that's terrorizing these kids, there's a bit more beyond that. For all intents and purposes, It is a book that takes a look at the human condition from two different points in our lifetime: childhood innocence and adulthood monotony. You see, the book isn't clearly separated between the two different time periods that the new movie series will probably try to do. The main plot is told through weaving the experiences of both the childhood years of the Losers Club, with them all grown up and living out their adult lives. We see these characters in two different time periods, so we're able to see what happens to them and what their perspective on fear is through two different points of time. For the most part, the book deals with the strength that comes from imagination and our childhood, how when we're younger, our own strength and our own ability to survive in a world that's frankly big and daunting is achieved through the innocence of imagination and youth. Quite frankly, life as a kid is pretty scary. Everything is bigger than you are. You're never put into a situation where you can try to understand the concepts of the adults, and you're disregarded as someone not equal. You're a small amoeba in a world of complex organisms, and that's terrifying because you're almost defenseless in this world. Adults are both your benefactors and also your enemies. You're on two different wavelengths from them. When It starts preying on children, it's preying on their fears of the world around them, not just in the form of big-budget Hollywood film monsters, but also on their ideas of helplessness and solitude. It's power comes from the kids' fear and belief in that they are powerless to do anything in the world, that they're at the mercy of the giants known as adults around them. They believe they're victims, so It preys on those fears of being victimized and ultimately being forced to leave the world of imagination and enter the frightening world of adulthood, the thing they fear most. Add to that the vivid imagination of the child to form that fear in a variety of ways, and you get a slew of monsters and forms that all reflect the fear of budding adulthood and the solitude that comes with being a child in a world made for grown-ups. The Losers Club in general become the main kids we follow, and throughout the novel we see multiple instances of this fear of adulthood and victimization play out. Beverly is exposed to gushing blood from her sink, a problem that links to her budding into womanhood, linked somewhat with menstruation and coupled with the obliviousness of her parents around her. To them, this is a normal thing and there's nothing to worry about, but to Beverly this is a terrible fear. Her body is changing, is developing into something else, and she's at that transformative state where she must leave behind her childhood. She's at the mercy of the adult world around her, forced to take on the new mature concepts it brings with it, and thus falling victim to growing up. Eddie Kaspbrak's run-in with the leper is signified in A Fear of Sexuality. The leper is a grown man falling to pieces, but offering Eddie comfort in sexual activity, something Eddie isn't well versed in at all. He knows what sex is, of course, but it's unfamiliar to him. It's a concept that lives in the adult realm, and being thrust into this is terrifying. However, the losers aren't completely powerless. While they're forced to accept growing up at such a young age, together they find solidarity through their combined imagination and desire to preserve their own youth. There's a magic in friendship, and while that may seem kind of hokey, it's a powerful bond between friends that allows them to combat It and everything it represents, fighting back against the encroaching adult threat by sustaining their beliefs. They believe in the power of mundane objects, whether it be an inhaler that shoots battery acid or that a silver bullet can hurt the werewolf. Their sustained belief and imagination defines childhood and gives them the strength to fight back against the unknown foreign concepts of adulthood. Once the losers have grown up, It taunts them all with the idea that they're too old to defeat it now, that they've lost that special magic that defined their childhood. They've lost their imagination, they've lost their faith in themselves, unable to think outside of the mundane of adulthood. Only when they come together do they find that magic once more, and it's through their shared experiences that the magic of childhood lives on in each other, giving them the strength, even as crummy adults, to fight back against Pennywise and that old fear that they had of losing their sense of innocence and imagination. But what do you guys think? Do you have your own interpretation of what It stands for? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to stay subscribed to the Hybrid Network to stay up to date on all of our videos as they come out. My name is Luke, and I'll catch you all next time.